yet another traffic incident outside a Southwest day home.
Is that what it's going to take, is for a kid to get hit or a person to get killed?
The city responds after parents say they've had enough. Plus a faltering job market coast to coast.
So I do believe that the jobs I applied for, I'm qualified for. I'm just not getting any responses from anyone.
Unemployed Calgarians trying to stay hopeful, but they say the prospects are bleak. And the weather that gives you headaches is perfect for making whiskey.
It sort of concentrates the whiskey and the flavor.
How Chinooks are helping create some award-winning single malt.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. We begin with breaking news tonight. The city is set to immediately shut down a troubled exit in Southwest Calgary after years of crashes and safety concerns near a day home. Mark Villani is live at that intersection in Bridlewood tonight. So Mark, walk us through the developments.
Well, Tara, I'm standing here at 162nd Avenue. This is where cars are turning right onto Bridal Crest Boulevard. The city says it will now shut down this right turn until it can come up with some longer-term solutions. Now, I want you to take a look at this right turn beside me. Area Councillor Dan McLean confirming this news to us, telling us that several complaints from this one spot are prompting the move, including an incident just yesterday where a car lost control and took down some signage here. Now, neighbors say drivers coming off Stony Trail onto 162nd Avenue often enter this corner at high speeds, with some losing control. Residents report more than 10 crashes here over the past 2 years, including one in April of 2024 when a pickup truck crashed into the side of a home, sending 3 people to hospital. The Rainbow Blooms Day Home, which sits right beside this corner, has also seen several incidents, and it even had the city install concrete barriers in its front yard to try to stop vehicles just from entering the property. Now, one local woman whose son attends the day home says she wants the road closed entirely. She says that the city considerations to potentially install speed humps in the area could also make the problem even worse.
162nd is not a residential street. It's a main, like, high-speed intersection that comes from Stony Trail, and people are coming up down that road at 130, sometimes faster. It's just not safe.
I will do whatever is necessary to make sure this community is safer, but the root cause still is people coming off of that ring road, and they're speeding too much on that as well. We need more traffic enforcement, more photo radar.
Now, the city previously ran a pilot project last summer where this right turn was temporarily closed down for about 3 months. But now we do have to look at some community consultation, says the city, and they'll obviously be looking at some longer-term solutions. Area Councillor Dan McLean saying that a permanent closure of this right turn also could be on the table. Tara.
Okay, Mark, thank you. A 6-year-old child was struck by an SUV that lost control in Airdrie yesterday. The driver then took off. Fortunately, the child suffered only minor injuries. It happened as 2 children and the mum were out shoveling snow. The person driving an Acura lost control, ran onto the sidewalk, and then hit the child. The SUV then struck a tree and the driver took off. Officers later found the vehicle, which was abandoned. They say there were 2 people inside, a girl and a boy, between the ages of 16 and 20. Mounties want to hear from anyone who has information. Police are still trying to track down the driver of a car that hit a 12-year-old boy in a crosswalk and then took off. And a warning, some may find the video we're about to show you disturbing. On Tuesday morning, Bentley St. John was struck by a white car on Taradale Drive Northeast. The driver slowed down after striking him, but then took off. St. John rolled to get out of the road as other vehicles drove through that intersection next. He finally got some help from people walking by. The 12-year-old was taken to hospital and is now back home with a broken leg. Calgary police want to hear from anyone who has information about the car or the driver. We have breaking news from the city tonight. A boil water advisory has just been issued to homes in 3 southwest neighborhoods after a water service line break. The initial break was reported before noon on Friday. While shutting off the water to the break, there was a disruption to a water main affecting homes and businesses in the Rosscarrick, Spruce Cliff and Wildwood neighborhoods. The city says this is not connected to the Bearspaw feeder main repairs. As a precaution, about 500 homes and businesses in the area, including Westbrook Mall are being asked to boil water before consuming for the next 3 days. The Alberta government has ordered a sweeping third-party investigation into Calgary's ongoing water main problems. The probe will be headed by David Goldie, a former chair of Alberta's energy regulator. Goldie will have the power to compel documents and witnesses, similar to a public judicial inquiry. The government says it needs a full accounting of the crisis to prevent it from happening again. Municipal Affairs Minister Dan Williams was asked why this investigation has more authority to compel evidence than one that investigated questionable government dealings on multi-million-dollar health service contracts.
When it comes to municipal affairs, Calgarians would agree that this is a crisis. It is a failure of the most core and basic services of a municipality. And this is the normal process. And anyone that wants to try and distract from this or say that it's some sort of political stunt should really just talk to Calgarians living their day-to-day lives.
Mayor Jeremy Farkas issued a statement saying he supports the inspection. The investigation is expected to cost $1.2 million, with a final report by the fall. Meanwhile, Calgarians' water use is in the green safe zone for the fourth straight day. Yesterday's consumption was 482 million litres. Let's bring Danielle in now. Spring is on the horizon. Got to be a little bit patient.
Yeah, we're so close, except for tomorrow is another big burst of winter. And it will behave somewhat like today. We had snowfall at times today, and then you can see by this live shot behind me, hey, the sun came out. Similar idea for tomorrow. However, tomorrow will be colder and a little more snowfall is expected than what we had today. -7 is the temperature at the airport. With the wind chill, it feels more like -14. Now, as we head through these next 24 hours, especially for tomorrow, temperatures will fall throughout the day rather than increase. We're also looking at the winds picking up, plus snowfall. So blizzard-like conditions is possible at times tomorrow. And then the sun will peak out later in the day, and then warmer temperatures to come on Sunday. We'll talk more about that coming up.
Thank you, Danielle. More.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
More dark clouds over the Canadian economy. Canada's unemployment ticked up last month, recording the biggest loss in decades outside of the pandemic. Amid the grim national news, Alberta is a bright spot, leading all provinces in year-over-year job growth. But even here, finding employment is not easy. Alicia Philberg reports.
Yeah, so I have a spreadsheet with all of the jobs that I've applied for just to keep track.
Carly Marshall has been looking for a job since November. It's nothing like 4 years ago when she got the first position she applied for.
I've applied for about 60 jobs right now. I've probably heard back from 3. So I'm very surprised about the job market. I wasn't expecting this.
The national unemployment rate increased to 6.7% after Canada lost nearly 84,000 jobs, led by declines in Quebec and British Columbia, and jobs lost in service and manufacturing, heavily impacted by American tariffs.
Yeah, Alberta is weathering the trade storm better than most, and you're seeing that come through in the jobs data.
While steel, lumber, and automobiles face steep tariffs, oil and gas does not. Alberta's unemployment rate was already lower than Canada's and dropped slightly to 6.3%.
Energy and oil and gas and utilities, we're still seeing jobs being created, albeit a lot of them are contracts. That gives employers flexibility to navigate the ebbs and the flows of their headcount.
Amid economic uncertainty, there has been a decline in full-time jobs, often adding to the stress for job seekers.
If you're a gig worker, you are not getting benefits. It just keeps stretching Canadians and Albertans, more and more to the edge of their budgets.
Groups like hers offer free sessions to help people organize their finances.
Yeah, it is stressful with the rising costs and especially gas too.
As war in the Middle East adds new uncertainty, experts think Alberta's job growth, paired with cooling population growth, will keep chipping away at the unemployment rate.
Overall, we see a continuation of the trend where Alberta will continue to outperform the current environment.
People looking for work hope they can prevail as well.
I excel at customer service. I'm pretty confident that I'll land something, but it's really just ensuring that your resume, I want to make sure that my resume is getting looked at, right? And I don't know if that's happening.
Alicia joins us from Southwest Calgary tonight. Alicia, what's the situation in the city?
Calgary's unemployment rate is 6.6%. Now, that's just slightly lower than the national rate, and that's due to a lot of jobs added, particularly in January, as well as that slowing stream of people moving to Calgary. Now, next week, the Bank of Canada is going to reevaluate its key lending rate on Wednesday, and forecasters are predicting that they will likely hold that steady, taking a cautious approach due to the uncertainties surrounding trade and also the war that's going on in the Middle East. Tara.
Okay, Alicia, thank you. Calgary-born Olympic bobsledder Kaylee Humphries praised U.S. President Donald Trump last night, presenting him with a special honor.
I love women. Women are the whole deal, okay?
Trump and First Lady Melania Trump hosted a Women's History Month event at the White House. Humphries, who first competed for Canada but switched to the U.S. team in 2019, presented Trump with an ECOS medal. The medal is provided to U.S. Olympians so they can give it to someone who made a meaningful contribution to their athletic journey. Humphries credited Trump with expanding access to in vitro fertilization and for keeping men out of women's sports.
I am here today and I'm so honored to present this, my Order of ECOS medal, to you, Donald Trump. So we only get one, but I want to recognize the support and the impact you've had on women's sports throughout the Olympic movement, specifically standing up to keep biological women in women's sports, to keep the field of play safe and allow for fair competition.
Humphries won gold for Canada at the Vancouver and Sochi Olympics and bronze in South Korea. Since getting U.S. citizenship in 2019, she won gold in monobob in Beijing and 2 bronze medals at the recent Games in Italy. Alberta teachers did not get the court ruling they were hoping for. We'll tell you why a judge did not grant an injunction to suspend back-to-work legislation. And Alberta launches a $90 million pilot program for students with special needs at private schools. We'll have reaction from the public system. Alberta teachers have failed in a bid to get an injunction to suspend the province's back-to-work law. The UCP government used the notwithstanding clause to force an end to the province-wide teacher strike last fall. A judge ruled the Alberta Teachers Association failed to prove the issues are so serious and pressing that the law should be put on hold while the case is hashed out in court. The judge also said an injunction would cause chaos and uncertainty in the education system. Teachers will still have their day in court to argue the case in full in September.
Quite honestly, I wasn't surprised by the decision, but it doesn't mean that myself and my colleagues across this province didn't have our hopes up. When you talk about the harm that was talked about in court today to teachers, I think the government fails to understand how deep of a wound they created within the teachers of this province by stripping them of their charter rights and not negotiating in a fair manner.
The province says it likely won't comment on the matter as it is still in front of the courts. Raising a child with a learning disability can be challenging. The province is trying to help parents through a pilot project aimed at increasing spaces for special needs students at private schools. But as Tyler Barrow explains, not everyone's on board with that funding decision.
Emma Shingleton has a rare neurodegenerative disease. Learning for her is a struggle. She goes to Calgary Board of Education's Emily Follinsby School. She used to go to a private school.
When Emma didn't get a spot in the private school for grade 1, it was very stressful for me.
The province says it wants to help children like Emma. It launched a $90 million 3-year pilot project aimed at increasing spaces in private schools for students with physical and mental challenges.
Create more spaces, specifically with those institutions that serve students with specialized needs.
Renfrew Educational Services has received a $10 million grant to support its 250-student Three Sisters Centre in Bearspaw set to open next year. It's for preschool to grade 12 students with significant to severe disabilities. Renfrew Educational Services says it's too early to comment on what annual fees at the school will be, but its website lists costs for elementary educational programming at $450 a month. The Alberta Teachers Association says taxpayers have never helped build private schools.
They need to be putting money targeted to that within the public system.
According to a December Think HQ public affairs poll, 59% of respondents voted in favor of Alberta ending its current practice of allocating funds to accredited private schools. A petition was launched to bring more attention to the issue, which ultimately fell short.
The best learning opportunities should be for all students should be in their community school.
According to the ATA, private school students in Alberta get 70% of the funding allotted to public school students. The province says the pilot project is a good use of funds for special needs students.
Many of these independent schools, again, provide unique programming to students with specialized needs. A lot of families choose those options.
And while Alberta appreciates the province looking out for parents like her, she is happy with her child enrolled in public programming.
It's a significant amount of funding going towards something that could definitely be split towards public schools.
Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Calgary.
Autism Calgary says it's encouraged to see investment in expanding education options for students with special needs, but it would like to see equal investment in our public education system. She Governs was back at City Hall today. It encourages women and gender diverse youth to get involved in politics. 30 youth in grades 9 through 12 participated in a model city council meeting. The aim is to show them how municipal government works. They debate, they propose amendments to motions, and they vote on motions to get an idea of the responsibilities of elected officials at City Hall. This year, the council debated public safety and hail resilience.
These girls kind of get a chance to step into the role of council member or mayor in some special cases, and they kind of get to debate real life issues, but in a municipal government setting, and just kind of like have like a first exposure to what it's like to be a decision maker.
They also hear from those currently serving in local politics. This is the 7th year for the She Governs program.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
Bring Danielle back in now for our 5-day forecast. We're getting there.
We are getting there. And you know what? This weekend is going to be a little half and half. So a huge burst of winter for tomorrow. We'll see a little more snow than what we saw today. It will be colder and windier. After that, though, by Sunday, it will be very bright and temperatures will start to climb. By next week, we'll be soaring. Okay, -8 is the temperature, just the ambient temperature right now in the city. Of course, feels much colder than that and well into the minus teens with the wind chill. -6 ambient temperature in Lethbridge, Brooks, Medicine Hat, Drumheller, Pincher Creek feeling more like -8. All right, today, as you can see by all these 30s, the winds were calm today in southern Alberta. We're going to pick up tomorrow. So we are looking at gusts 50 to 60 kilometers per hour tomorrow. When you combine that with the snow that we're going to get in most communities in southern Alberta, that will at times reduce visibility, which could be reduced to almost zero, and blizzard-like conditions in isolated spots at times. All right, here's a look at the system to the south. This is going to push in from the states. So the closer you are to the U.S. border, the heavier amounts of snow you're going to see for tomorrow. I'll give you the future cast here to give you an indication. Basically, for this evening, just a couple isolated flurries, mainly to the north, but we may see a couple snowflakes in Calgary. Then in the overnight hours, so look at 3:30 in the morning. Overnight, we'll see some snow start to push into Calgary. You can see that system just starting to make its way to the U.S. border and then move on in the morning hours tomorrow. Again, more intense for the far south. For Calgary, we're looking at that on and off snow. Today we had a light dusting. Tomorrow we're looking more at 2 to 4 centimeters in the city. So a little more snowfall with this one. And then this really does clear out closer to those supper hours of Calgary. We'll still see it lingering in the southeast corner throughout later in the day tomorrow, and then it's out of the way. When we look at totals and what we can see, the bullseye area looks to be around Milk River Tabor, where 13 to 14 centimeters is certainly possible. 5 to 10 centimeters certainly possible in Lethbridge and Pincher Creek, but to the north, Okotoks, Calgary, up through Red Deer, including Cochrane and Canmore, anywhere from 2 to 4 centimeters is what you can expect. Medicine Hat around that 7 centimeter mark. All right, looking at the Action Furnace 5-day forecast. Tomorrow will be the coldest day of this cold stretch. So this -11 will be in the morning. By the afternoon, -14 is what it will be like, and it will feel closer to the -20s with the wind chill for much of the day. Again, 2 to 4 centimeters, but like today, clearing out later in the day. So some sun peeking out later, lots of sunshine on Sunday, more reasonable temperatures at -1, and then check this out, 9 for Monday, mid-teens for Tuesday, high teens by Wednesday.
An emergency room doctor is skeptical of recommendations for hospitals following the death of a man at an Edmonton ER late last year. 44-year-old Prashanth Srikumar went to the Grey Nuns emergency room for chest pains just days before Christmas. His family says he waited nearly 8 hours to be seen by a doctor before he died. Acute Care Alberta is now making 16 short and long-term recommendations to prevent similar outcomes in the future. 3 of the recommendations depend on funding. That includes increasing emergency room staffing, expanding emergency room department sites, and the creation of high-intensity units. An emergency room doctor says these types of recommendations have been made before.
Unfortunately, what happens is we never follow up with concrete action afterwards. So if the opportunity presents itself to do something meaningful, great. Otherwise, it'll just be another report that ends up on a shelf and that nobody pays attention to.
The hospital's minister says Acute Care Alberta is working with Covenant Health and other providers to implement the recommendations. A public fatality inquiry has also been called for Shri Kumar's death. There are fears the Mideast war could spread. Coming up, tensions increase in Turkey as the U.S. and Israel ramp up attacks against Iran. And a southern Alberta distillery makes some interesting discoveries about our climate and its impact on whiskey making. Canada and 13 other countries are participating in Arctic war simulations in Norway. 25,000 troops are taking part. The joint exercises focus on NATO military abilities to defend the Arctic. The Prime Minister also took the opportunity to meet with the Prime Minister of Norway and the Chancellor of Germany. It comes as Russia got an economic boost from President Trump. The White House announced it will ease sanctions on countries buying oil from Russia, giving Vladimir Putin more money to continue waging war on Ukraine.
There should be no pressure on the energy side taken off Russia. It needs to be consistent, and it needs to be felt from the Russian side so that they will come to the negotiation table, accept the ceasefire.
The Trump administration is also taking aim at allies, announcing that it would review labor practices of 60 nations. If deemed unfair, the U.S. plans to levy tariffs. Germany, Norway, and Canada could all be impacted. The conflict in the Middle East is now in its 14th day, and it is showing no signs of slowing down. The number of deaths and the knock-on effects to the global economy continue to mount. The U.S. and Israel are pounding Iran while it is still capable of attacking its neighbors and causing havoc in the Strait of Hormuz. Here's Heather Wright in Turkey.
What appears to be a projectile streaks across the sky near Incirlik Air Base in southern Turkey. NATO confirming a missile from Iran bound for Turkey was intercepted today, the third such interception since the war began.
It sounds crazy because, normally Iran is a semi-ally to Turkey. So that was surprising to see. But, war is crazy.
Turkish authorities have not said what the target was, but U.S. and NATO troops are stationed at Incirlik. In Istanbul, the mood is calm, but there is worry the war could spread.
They are trying to involve other countries too, and so maybe there will be something, but I'm hoping it won't be anything bad.
Today, the United States confirmed a refueling plane, similar to the one seen here, crashed in western Iraq, killing all 6 crew members. U.S. Central Command says the crash was not caused by hostile or friendly fire and is under investigation. In Tehran, smoke can be seen rising as thousands gathered to mark Al-Quds Day, one of many rallies across the country. People are not afraid of these attacks, the head of the judiciary said, vowing Iran won't back down. While Iran has been battered by U.S. and Israeli bombardment, it continues to strike its neighbors, with thick black smoke seen rising from Dubai's financial district today. In northern Israel, Iran's proxy Hezbollah fired hundreds of rockets overnight, injuring dozens, including a number of children. Israel continues to hit Beirut and its suburbs, with the death toll in Lebanon at nearly 700, according to the health ministry. Today, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres visited Lebanon and called for an immediate ceasefire.
Lebanon was dragged into a war that is not a war that its people would be willing to have.
The exact death toll of this conflict is still not clear, but government officials and UN agencies believe as many as 2,000 people have been killed and millions displaced, the majority in Iran and Lebanon. Heather Wright, CTV News, Istanbul.
The U.S. Pentagon is reporting its joint operation in Iran has hit more than 15,000 targets. The U.S. Secretary of War is also suggesting Iran's new supreme leader was wounded much more seriously in those initial strikes against the regime and is likely disfigured. With more, here's CTV's Joy Malbin in Washington.
With casualties mounting, recognizing the cost of this war, a somber moment for the 6 U.S. service members killed in that refueling crash in western Iraq.
Please keep these brave airmen, their families, friends, and units in your thoughts.
From the U.S. Secretary of War, more bravado, suggesting Iran's new supreme leader, who's not been seen since the first airstrikes, is desperate and in hiding.
They've gone underground, cowering. That's what rats do. We know the new so-called not-so-supreme leader is wounded and likely disfigured.
And with oil tankers on fire, Pete Hegseth dismissed fears about oil disruptions through the Strait of Hormuz, effectively blocked by Iran.
As the world is seeing, they are exercising sheer desperation in the Straits of Hormuz. Something we're dealing with, we have been dealing with it, and don't need to worry about it.
Americans are worried about it, feeling the impact of soaring gas and now food prices. It's short-term pain, says the U.S. president, in exchange for a nuclear-free Iran, telling Fox News Radio.
We are decimating them. We've knocked out most of their missiles. We've knocked out many of their drones. We're hitting them harder than anybody's been hit since World War II.
And with shifting timelines and declarations of victory already, the president gave another benchmark when he'll know the war is over.
When it's over, this is going to bounce right back so fast.
When are you going to know when it's over?
When I feel it in my bones.
The president insists on unconditional surrender from Iran in a war that has taken thousands of lives already and cost the U.S. more than $11 billion in just the first 6 days. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington. If you need a little inspiration to get off the couch this weekend, this might do it. A Canadian athlete who competes in the 100 to 104-year-old category at races. Migraine sufferers know all too well when southern Alberta's weather changes and a Chinook blows in. Turns out those weather and pressure fluctuations have a positive impact on whiskey production. Eau Claire Distillery says its single malt whiskey is maturing in half the time it takes at operations in Scotland. Kevin Fleming explains.
Some of the whiskey in these barrels has been aging since the Eau Claire Distillery opened. The aroma inside the warehouse is strong, and that's due to something the industry calls angel's share.
We actually term it now, it's not the angel's share, for us it's the angel's gift. And that's because it does have such an effect on the maturation.
David Farron and master distiller Danny Gowrie regularly monitor the temperature and pressure changes at the distillery in Diamond Valley. Farron says there's a lot of evaporation out of the barrels, but it's mostly water.
It's about 3% a year in other countries. We're about 12% for the first year, so we lose a huge amount. But what we lose because of our dry climate is we lose the moisture. And so we can actually, it sort of concentrates the whiskey and the flavor.
Gowrie is from Glasgow and says he's not used to the big weather changes here.
This was relatively new territory for me when I first came to Alberta. Obviously used to the Scottish environment and what that maturation profile is like. So we are just, I was shocked initially just at the kind of depth and complexity that we could get from casks.
Gowrie says it takes about a week to make whiskey from malted barley, water, and yeast. But when he travels to whiskey judging events, he's explaining more about how our weather impacts the product.
Especially when we go overseas, it's a very unknown type of climate that people are not used to as well. And when you explain how quickly the temperature can change in a relatively short period of time, there's a lot of shock and amazement.
Farron says the distillery's newest product is a celebration of the Alberta ingredients along with its weather in a bottle. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Diamond Valley.
Who knew? Wow.
I feel like we need to try all these things.
we probably should.
Why not?
Well, plenty of couples practice their wedding dance, of course, before the big day. Some really put on a performance. That's pretty good. This couple surprised their guests by reenacting the whole Dirty Dancing dance and even the lift. So 20 of their friends nailed the routine to the delight of guests. They've been married for a while now, and apparently they're still dancing together.
That's impressive.
My daughter's getting married in the summer, so expectations will be high.
You can show her this video and tell her you expect to see this.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
No way. Well, for many, after the wedding comes the baby shower, and that means baby shower games.
Oh my.
This one needs some teamwork. So one person has to put their head through a little cutout of a baby. The other person stands behind them. They can't see what they're doing, but they've got to feed them. Gets a little bit messy, I imagine.
Not bad, though.
Not bad.
I don't see a lot of mess on people's faces. It's pretty good.
That looks hilarious,
Yeah, I've never seen that one before.
No.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a good one. Well, hopefully after that, then you just slide into middle age together, but nobody said you have to slow down. Okay, so this year's Canadian Masters in Ontario, Atar Singh Sekon finished the 60-meter dash in 40 seconds. Now, you might think that sounds like a long time. He's 102.
Come on.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
He won 4 events at this competition. He didn't even start competing until he was 94. Whew. And now that he started, he says he has no plans to slow down.
He can go pretty good, I'll tell you.
That's amazing.
Right?
And it looks like his trainer ran next to him with a cane. Like, they're both incredible.
Yes.
Look
Good
at that.
for him. Awesome. Awesome. Fewer Canadians say they want to travel stateside. That's what a new survey suggests. We'll have more on Canadians' falling favor toward our southern neighbors.
CTV Ski Report, brought to you by Sunshine Village, home of Canada's best snow and hottest lifts.
All right, speaking of snow, we're not done yet. We had a little bit today. Skywatch weather camera showing you some clouds, but we also had, a little bit of sunshine later in the day today. -8 is that current temperature. That's just ambient temperature. We'll talk wind chill in just a second here. Today's high was -6. That was early in the morning. Normal is +4. We'll get there. We will get way beyond there. All right, with the wind chill, feels more like -15 in the city. -10 is what it feels like in Lethbridge, -12 in Medicine Hat, -12 as well in Drumheller. So it's chilly. If you think this is cold, just wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow will be even colder. Then we'll start to move our way up on the Sunday. So tomorrow will be the coldest day of this cold stretch. We're going to see a little more snow tomorrow compared to what we got today. And it will be gusty, so that will reduce visibility as well. This is going to push in from the States. We also have another pocket that's going to move in from the north. The closer you are to the U.S. border, the more snow you will see. So closer to U.S. border, 10 to 15 centimeters possible. Lethbridge looking closer to 5 to 10 centimeters. And for Calgary, more like 2 to 4 centimeters throughout the day. Plus wind chill in the -20s throughout the day as well. Snow falling until the early afternoon hours, then things will start to clear out. You'll see some sun peek out, much like today. That's your Action Furnace 24-hour forecast. Action Furnace, fixed right or it's free. Looking around, Salmon Arm, just mainly cloudy and 6 degrees. Kamloops as well. Edmonton -10. Red Deer -11 is a high. Drumheller -9. Again, all these highs will be in the morning, and then temperatures will get colder and colder throughout the day. Lethbridge -8. Medicine Hat -7 with snowfall. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle. A problematic exit from a busy southwest Calgary road is set to close until a permanent solution is found. Multiple crashes have happened at 162nd Street and Bridal Crest Boulevard over the years, including vehicles traveling too fast and hitting a day home near the corner. Airdrie RCMP are looking for 2 people who were in an SUV that hit a child shoveling snow. The SUV then hit a tree, and a male and female got out and ran away. The former chair of Alberta's energy regulator, David Goldie, will head a third-party investigation into Calgary's water main problems. The province says it needs a full accounting of the crisis. Amid trade tensions and comments calling Canada the 51st state, a new Nano survey shows there's reduced interest in heading south of the border for March break this year. CTV's Abigail Beeman breaks down the findings.
Ottawa's airport is buzzing for March break, with passengers ready for destinations both hot,
go to the beach,
and cold.
Well, we're going to go to Canmore and ski in the mountains.
And with continued trade tensions south of the border, fewer travelers here are heading to the United States.
Trying to avoid it if possible, only for work if I need to.
No, at this point I wouldn't go to the States.
New research from Nanos for CTV News shows 43% of Canadians, or 2 in 5, are less likely to travel to the United States this year compared to last. 38% don't go to the U.S. in general, while only 4% are more likely to in 2026.
It's a combination of, making a statement, and that has to do with kind of supporting Canada, avoiding the United States, looking at a place that's safe, but also keeping something and making decisions that are affordable. And that's probably why destinations in Canada probably have a pretty good level of appeal right now.
With everything that's going on, I just prefer to stay here and explore our amazing Canada that we have. And we have no plans to go down there anytime soon.
I feel like more than 43% should feel that way.
All of
I feel
Canada,
like
probably.
100%, because we're one big nation. We need to stick together.
Ben Miller's high school basketball team is heading home to Thunder Bay after competing in provincial championships in Pembroke, but they've stopped playing in the U.S.
I don't want to travel to the U.S. with all that drama going on down there.
Makes me feel unsafe.
On another topic, the survey also asked whether talk of separatism in Alberta has any impact on Canadians' plans to travel to that province. The majority of respondents, 61%, said it does not. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Canadian economy lost about 84,000 jobs in February. That wasn't what most economists had expected. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more.
That kicked the unemployment rate up to 6.7%. The majority of the jobs lost were in the private sector. Young workers are feeling this the most. Employment fell 1.7% for Canadians 15 to 24. Both wholesale and retail jobs were lost, and Quebec lost the most jobs in February, followed by BC. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 72.84. West Texas Intermediate is up another $2 to 98.04. Western Canadian Select up close to $8 to 79.96. And the TSX lost another 298 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
The countdown is on to the 98th Academy Awards this weekend.
As a fan, as a movie fan, I was really excited to be part of it this year because I watched all these movies without being made to.
Host Conan O'Brien helped to roll out the red carpet at the Dolby Theatre earlier this week. He hinted he's planning to take some slightly bigger swings in his comments than he did at last year's show. Oscars organizers have said they're preparing special cinematic tributes for Sinners and K-pop Demon Hunters as the countdown continues to the 98th Academy Awards. That show airs Sunday night right here on CTV. A former CTV Calgary Athlete of the Week is reaching ever higher levels. Still to come, Glenn catches up with a young Calgary tennis player who is swinging hard.
Fires and hits! An incredible streak puts SGA into the record books. 127 consecutive games, scoring at least 20 points as he passes the great Wilt Chamberlain.
Wow. Canadian basketball superstar Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shot past an historic milestone last night. Wilt Chamberlain's record stood for more than 6 decades before SGA broke it. The streak started in November of 2024. SGA's Oklahoma City Thunder went on to beat the Boston Celtics, improving their league best record. The Calgary Flames continue their 5-game road trip in Long Island tomorrow night. Glenn is back with us. Glenn, the Flames picked up their first win on the road trip last night.
Tara, the Flames beat the New Jersey Devils 5-4, and it ended up being a very big night for their captain. Third period, Michael Backlund would beat former teammate Jacob Markstrom with what would prove to be the winning goal. Not only was it the game winner, it also was career point number 600 for the Flames captain. The goal was his 229th, which ties him with Kent Nilsson for 5th most Flames goals in their history.
It feels good to score and help the team win, and finally a marquee and to do the same time 600. My first thought was, it's nice to score, find a marquee, and then Nacho came with the puck, and I was really excited about it.
When Michael scored that, of course, you got a little bit of breathing room that I felt like we were in good shape at that point, but happy for him. That's a great milestone for a guy that's given a lot to this organization.
And Backlund is only 9 points behind Johnny Gaudreau on the all-time points list, just 16 back of Joe Nieuwendyk. Flames and Islanders tomorrow night, and then they wrap up the 5-game road trip in Detroit on Monday night. Well, there are a lot of great young tennis players over at the Austin and Victor Alberta Tennis Center, and one of them is 14-year-old Matthew Popa. 14-year-old Matthew Popa loves to be on the tennis court. He's been serving up aces since he was 3 years old.
I love to compete, running around, chasing every ball down. Just competing is so, fun.
Matthew's game has come a long way since we gave him our Athlete of the Week back in 2021. He's ranked number 3 in Canada in U14 and recently won the U14 national doubles title and finished 3rd in singles. He says he's found success because he's a good student of the game.
Just listening to coaches, staying disciplined, that's just all it takes.
Matthew's coach is Alec Moriu. He says Matthew's an extremely hard worker and has been awesome to work with.
The number one thing is he's a really good performer. Like when it gets tough, let's say you're in a tiebreaker at 6-all, he's able to find that top level. So that's going to really help you out in matches along the way. He's going now to play U16 nationals, and then also his goal is to also play some college tennis, maybe some pro.
Matthew found that toughness on the court when he lived in Spain. He and his family moved there during the pandemic so he could train outdoors. He says that experience made him a better player.
If I didn't go there, I wouldn't have learned to dig deep in points, to just stay in the point. I learned a lot from there, yeah.
Matthew has some lofty goals he'd like to reach in the sport.
My goal is to be top 10 in the world, but to achieve that goal, I have to keep listening to my coaches, to stay disciplined, working hard in practice. I think I can get there, yeah. If I work hard, yeah, it's possible.
Okay, for the first time ever, Canada made it past the pool stage at the World Baseball Classic. Tonight, they're up against the United States in the quarterfinal matchup. Not great for Canada right now. 3-0, top of the third. United States leads that, so need a comeback.
Do we have enough heavy hitters on that team to hold our own?
It's going to be very tough against the U.S.
All right. Thank you, Glenn. Okay, final peek of the weather, Danielle.
Yeah, so this weekend, half and half. So tomorrow, a big burst of winter. Today, for example, in and around the city, we saw anywhere from about 1 trace to 2 centimeters of snow. Tomorrow, we're looking at 2 to 4 centimeters. So a little more snowfall, gustier. So snow blowing around, reduced visibility, plus it will be much colder tomorrow. -11 will be the high in the morning, and then we'll drop to -14 in the afternoon. But after that, look at Sunday, mainly sunny, -1, which that in itself is very reasonable. Then 9 for Monday, 15 for Tuesday, 18 for Wednesday. And talking about that 10-day trend, you can see all of next week will be very, very toasty.
Just gonna get out the weekend.
So hold on, everybody. Weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. Thank you, Barney,
Michael Hardy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for your company tonight. Have a good weekend.